and looking to the Lord. It doesn't do any good to try to figure out how to straighten out things, because it's not going to straighten out. You're not going to fix this. Now, Trump wants to fix it, and they're deathly afraid of Trump. I was told about Trump, and this was before he really announced, and I said there's no way that they're going to allow a billionaire white guy to become president. The reason being, there's a lot of darkness in there. But guess what? He did become president because the people in charge really misjudged Trump. And they still do to this day. And there's only one reason why Trump could get through this like he has, and that's with the help of the Lord. So whether he can get elected again, which would be nice, because that would really put kibbutz, or the end of what they're doing for a while. But the thing I want you to remember too is God has not appointed you to wrath. He's appointed you to light, not darkness. He appointed you to love, not hate. Do you ever notice all these people on the street that protest, how full of hate they are? And that incident not too long ago, and I have to be online all the time, monitor all of our social accounts, and I do make remarks online from time to time. But most of the time, if you want to hear me, you got to listen to the radio shows. That's where I talk. That's where I tell you. But at any rate, on this day, there was a bunch of boys, this is a high school, that were picking on one guy. So this other kid came in to help him, to help that one kid. And they turned on him, and they eventually killed this kid. Now all those children, they're up on murder charges of some kind now. And that's not the first time. I see that all the time. And the kid that got killed was white, and the kid they were picking on was white, and the others, well, they weren't white, not that I could see, because I saw the picture of them. Because one thing about the internet, if there's a fight, people stand around, take pictures, while someone gets beat to death. Now see, that's the way it works, and that's corrupt. Nobody steps in. 15 on 1 or something, nobody steps in. In my day, I was raised with Mexicans, Indians, cowboys, back in the 60s. One day we had a whole pack of radical blacks come in that were going to riot in our little town. I know the sheriff, he knew my dad, and he told the story. He says, I just walked up and told him, if you want to protest in the park, go ahead. But just to let you know, there's 6,000 people in this town and not one of them is black. They left immediately. But I can tell you one thing about skin color. Skin color is not the issue. It's not the skin which makes the sin. It's the sin that's within that causes the issue. And so we are focused on skin color when you should be focusing on condition of heart. That's where you're screwed up. I can tell you some of the best fighters we have in this country, up in Congress, are not white. And everybody tries to categorize it, white and black. Do you know that there's a lot of variations of black? There's a lot of variations of white. God is a God of choice. He likes to make a lot of different things. Have you ever seen His creation? How many white and black animals do you see? You see all kinds of animals, every shape, every kind, every color, because God is a God of variety and choice. He likes to create these things. So, and I think that's one thing that people have to learn here. Now in Isaiah 11, 1 through 5, we hear about the branch. Branch is actually another name for the Lord, prophetic name. Because even in the Gospels you find the Lord saying, I am the vine, you are the branches. He was the main branch, the main stem that everybody grew from. And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots. Now, if you look in Matthew and see the line, you'll see some of these names in there. And you'll find out that the Lord grew out of the roots. And the Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him. Now remember, this is the Son of God. He was glorified. And he gave up, he emptied himself of his glory. And he was given a lot of power. But his purpose was to come and die on the cross for us, providing the atonement, the blood of atonement, which would fulfill the righteousness of God. So like Abraham, who believed God, and it was imputed unto him for righteousness' sake, so by believing on Yeshua and his work on the cross, it'll be imputed unto you for righteousness' sake. That's how you get saved. It's not an accident. God planned it. So the Spirit of the Lord shall rest on him, the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and might, the Spirit of knowledge and of the fear of the Lord. The Spirit of the Lord shall rest on him. The Spirit of wisdom, the Spirit of understanding, the Spirit of counsel, the Spirit of might, the Spirit of knowledge, and Spirit of the fear of the Lord. That's 7 spirits. These are the 7-fold spirits and the fullness thereof that rested on Yeshua when he came. And shall make him of quick understanding in the fear of the Lord. And he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes, neither reprove after the hearing of his ears. Now see, one thing about him, when he came, he knew their thoughts. He knew what was in them. And so, as much as they tried to entrap him, it didn't do any good. The only reason he went to the cross is because he had to go to the cross. But when he comes again, oh good, there's the Son of God, we're going to lynch him. No, you ain't going to lynch him. You ain't even going to have a chance. He'll have a 2-fold rod we see in Revelation, which is the spiritual image of that, needless to say, you ain't going to have a chance. Because all the wicked are going to take one look at him and they're going to hightail it. They're going to try to find every rock and cave to hide under. So he's going to be of quick understanding in the fear of the Lord, and he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes, neither reprove after the hearing of his ears. But with righteousness shall he judge the poor, and reprove with equity for the meek of the earth. He shall smite the earth with his rod of his mouth. That's when he comes back. And with the breath of his lips shall slay the wicked. Yeah, read Revelation. And righteousness shall be the girdle of his loins, and faithfulness the girdle of his reins. And that's the 5 verses. The branch, the stem of Jesse. We're talking about the kingdom. There is a kingdom, and there's a kingdom war, and there's a coming king. The kingdom war is what we're talking about. The coming king is just what I described. That is part of the prophecy about him coming. Now you see, I had this Muslim contact me and left a little message, made a comment on something. Because I put a lot of our studies up there, all of our shows, our articles. And, you got to have starch in your jeans in order to read these articles. Because you're going to know the truth by the time you're through with it. And so, he read it and then sent me a letter. I just say he, I don't know what sex, I don't know. And he tried to tell that, the Muslims love Jesus. They honor him. Yeah, I can see how you honor it. Like in Kenya, you kill him. Like in Pakistan, you lock him up. You don't give him justice, and you just as soon kill him. In India, you do kill him. Drive him out of your villages. You see, we cover the persecuted church every week. I never run out of articles. I never run out of information. And the humanitarian organizations that I tell you to contact, they always have somewhere to go and somebody to help. So don't try to tell me how lovey-dovey Islam is. It is not. That's why the world fought a war over it. The Crusades that went on forever. And that's why there's another crusade that's going on in the world, and they're attacking Israel, and a bunch of these babies were burned horribly and murdered. The mothers were killed and burned. I saw the pictures. And we have a bunch of idiot kids worldwide who are backing Hamas and the Palestinians. And for your information, in some of the coverage of Israel, and I have a direct access, everybody can, if they'll pay attention. And so I know what they're saying when it happens. The IDF records them. Palestinian walked up to the IDF and said, "We do not want Hamas here." They don't want them. They want to live their lives, raise their family,